Greetings, parish orphans and retrogrades. Timothy Gordon here, live from the eye, evidently, of a torrential Mississippi downpour. It's like a hurricane, not quite. Nevertheless, I come to you today to answer the question, where is the Sophia Institute Press Gordon Feminism book? And I'm going to answer that question and a few constituent parts of the question in just one moment. I'm going to take a brief timeout to say that this show today is happening sort of off the cuff. I was supposed to be interviewing Mr. Milo Yiannopoulos right now. And that interview hopefully will happen eventually. You've seen him on excellent channels like Church Militant and Mr. Patrick Coffin's show. And we've had this penciled in for a while, and we've rescheduled a couple different times. Milo has. Hopefully that happens. I can't help but ruminate, as I was just grocery shopping with my kids, how all of this has happened to me in my life, being able to write and speak and cast full time because of Milo. That was really my true beginning. In terms of those nerds and comic book incels out there who are unapologetic. You use the term origin story, and my origin story in your eye is that of Milo Yiannopoulos publishing my book. The way that book got published right before Dangerous Books, his publication house, folded up, was almost providential. It was the very last minute. And we'd been kind of missing each other. He'd been delaying the publication. If it didn't happen right then, my book would have been one of the large number of books that were slated to be published on Dangerous that got scrapped. And mine was the third and final book to be published along with his and Pam Geller's. And to me, it feels providential. I am grateful every day that it got out. And I just can't say enough how grateful I am. Then everything else that you know of me in my work and my career, my apostolate, has happened pursuant to that. So Milo was supposed to come on today and had a last minute thing. But I'm still grateful to the guy. I want to have him on. I had a funny show planned, and I might be going on his show Friday night. We'll see if I can pencil in a double. He comes on mine, I come on his later in the week. I know with Milo, you can't pin him down. So, I didn't actually announce that one, but that was the Wednesday show I had lined up. Quickly, remember, I'm all about grouping conservatives here in the middle of the country in blood red states. If you're in a blue state, you got to get out of it. The best way to do so is to contact realestateforlife.org, realestateforlife.org. They will help you. Most of them are Catholics. If not, they're good pro-life Protestants. They will help you, good people, to find a home, to find a new life in a new state. So go to realestateforlife.org. Also, in less than a month now, I would remind you, my new spring classes, Church History and Rules for Retrogrades, open. You can enroll now. Enrollment has been open for about a month, and the classes are filling up. So go to timothyjgordon.com and click enroll. And those are the two classes which begin April the 15th, now less than 4 weeks away. So, what happened to the Sophia Gordon Feminism book? Here's the answer. It's coming out in a few months. The date has been batted around. It's been pushed back. It has never really been pushed forward. It's been a ratchet effect for a few different reasons. I'd like to hit a couple of the reasons and submit that to you, my listening public, my people, and I like to be as honest as I can. The book is, as you know, a compendium. Every publisher that's looked at it, the feminism book being affectionately titled No Christian Feminism, probably won't come out with that title because now it's actually 2 books. I'll explain that also. It's very controversial simply because it's so comprehensive, 700 footnotes in its original form and eight chapters, and strikes at the heart of feminism, at the root. When you're going to dig a tree out, you dig it by the root. We're digging the tree is too nice an image, the canker, the tumor of feminism out with this book. And we start at the intellectual roots. In the church, there's an ecclesiastical patriarchy that feminism has, since first wave feminism, long sought to unseat. And then in the culture at large, there is a matrimonial household patriarchy. It's kind of the two patriarchies that the church has for 2,000 years upheld. The church of the home and the actual church, both run by men, right? The household priest must be a man, and the actual priesthood must be all male. And feminism attacked both. So to attack feminism is to defend the patriarchy. And that's a tremendously controversial topic on its own. And over the last 15 months, I would trace the beginnings of the postponement of the publication date of this. As many people know, it was supposed to come out in 2020. I traced the beginning to about 15 months ago in December of 2019. We sat out all of 2020 on the feminism book, which turned out to not be a bad thing because of the beer bug and all that ridiculous nonsense, which would have hindered sales and would not have helped us to promote the book. So 2020 is a wash for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, but the foremost is COVID. Well, in December of 2019, as is referenced in a recent Church Militant article, which you might have read or heard about, Dave, co-author on the original book, had a tweet that Sophia was concerned about, and they were very, very fair. They were excessively fair. A lot of other publishers would have dropped us then and there. They said, because of this, it's a very unpopular tweet that is relevant to your book. We worry that this does authorial discreditation, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not really weighing in on this. I'm just reporting the facts. We're going to kick the publication date back to either late 2020 or 2021. A lot of less gritty, less truth-centered publication houses than Sophia Institute Press, who I really do defend strongly. Their leadership is strong, and I really have always been comfortable having Catholic Republic there, and I'm going to have another book, Sinister 17s, in 2022, and I will have a feminism book come out in a few months, modified form. Again, I'll get to that in a sec. They kicked the ball down the road, and they said, let's let this blow over. The tweet became somewhat famous, infamous by Dave. And, they instructed him, please cool it on Twitter till this book comes out. It's a very sensitive time with the election upcoming. And then we all know what's happened after the election. Things have only gotten more sensitive, more touch and go. So that was 2020. Now, they felt for their part, I'll just say this one line and then move on, that my brother, continued to maybe after a month or so of kind of annulment or quietude, continued to tweet boisterously, that's fine. That's his right to do. But after the election and after a few more tweets that I don't think were bad, or needless to say, it's inarguable were as bad. Nevertheless, they felt that it was fair to say, look, this is just too, even in 2021, we've sort of we've preserved the oversensitive and threadbare nature of the nerves, authorial nerves, and the public's nerves, just through Twitter alone. We're going to take a step back from this permanently. And then that was about 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago tomorrow. And I've just been quiet, right? Which is not necessarily my first impulse. I'm not a reticent dude, but I knew, because Sophia's leadership is so good, so competent, so strong, not cowards, that they would, Charlie, the president there, said, look, Tim, I want to make you whole. I want to make you whole. This is, we really want to help you. And I was just quiet, and I knew that they would, because I knew it's good leadership. And that's why I haven't said much. I knew something would present itself. Well, Dave took his other chapters. I'm happy that Church Militant, St. Michael's Press, is doing this. He took his good chapters, which have a slightly different emphasis from mine, actually a quite different emphasis from mine, to Church Militant, and it looks like they're going to be publishing those, which is great, which is awesome. I'll promote the book here. They're good friends, Church Militant of mine, close friends. Everyone who watches this show knows that, and I will promote that book. And that, I think, enabled and really ameliorated the process, where Sophia said, okay, well, we can do with your chapters a little bit more what we had in mind all along for the manuscript. So they're going to publish my chapters. I'm going to squeak in an extra 2, it looks like, and then we're going to publish those. And my book will have a pro-patriarchy focus. Dave's has a more anti-feminism focus, but there's a ton of cross-fertilization. It'll almost be like the 2 halves of a book that, in all fairness, in addition to all the other kind of PR problems that Sophia feared the book was having and would have continued into the future, it had gotten too long with 2 authors. Both my brother and I have a lot to say, particularly about this topic. It was really Dave's brainchild in the first place, but it got too long. We were splitting up chapters because chapters were getting too long, and there were more chapters in the book than we originally contracted for. So it's a valid reason to split the book. And you, the public, who have been contacting me every day over the last 3 weeks, and even before that, about the nature of where is the book, you get 2 books. So it's a good deal. And they're 2 good books from 2 good companies. So where is it? My book's in the works. I imagine it'll be out still somewhat shortly. It got pushed, we were saying February 2021, then it became April 2021, and then we got the bad news about 3 weeks ago, and now it'll be sometime, not April now, I'm hopefully, I don't know, May, June. I'll take questions at the end of this.
Caitlin is asking, will Dave's concomitant book have the deleted edited scene from the Sophia Press Feminism book? The good thing about Sophia, by the way, guys, is that they, to be like nice, they were going to get it all ready for self-publication. They were getting it typeset for free for the guys and everything. So I think they were trying to get it nicely packaged for Dave, whatever he wanted to do with it. Yeah,
they were going to give us all the editing work and all that, which is, standard for good businesses that are trying to work with you. And that was it. So the edited, I don't know what you mean. Dave is going to probably give the St. Michael's is not worried. From what I know, and I don't know very much about it from Church Militant or St. Michael's perspective. I had a good, really nice chat with Christine Niles last night, and I think they're gonna let him kind of maybe arrange the book more, because he's copy editor there. So he might put some stuff back in that he'd taken out. I don't know what he's gonna do. You'll have to watch the Resistance podcast on Church Militant and ask him or interact with him on his now well-reputed Twitter account. So that Twitter account has it's caused me more than 1 or 2 headaches. And I'm not a quiet dude. I'm not a guy that struggles with reticence. But it was really tough, because that book is part of a 3-book deal for me. And I originally brought Dave in. He had this great book idea. I said, can this be one of the 3 books? And Charlie, the president there, just a cool dude, was like, yeah, whatever you want to do that book 3rd, and do your kind of infiltration follow-up Sinister 17 2nd. Then I kept calling him back. This is like 3 Christmas Eves, New Year's Eves ago. And I called him back one last time. I was like, could I flip that to 2nd and the Sinister 17s to the 3rd book out of 3? And Charlie's just such a nice man, and he has trust in his authors, which in me, the author that he was contracting with, and I really appreciate that. And that's what a good executive does. When you want to get an author to a multi-book deal, you got to trust the authorial discretion some. And Charlie's exceedingly good at that. Excessively would mean he's too good at that for his own good. Though some others that Sophia might be telling him that. That's just a joke. Anyway, he's been extremely cool. So that's kind of why it's split up. It got too long, and there were some problems in the works. I'm not going to tell you about all of them, but there were some problems, some disagreements between Dave and Sophia about 1 or 2 of his chapters. That now he'll have more authorial discretion at Church Militant, which is awesome. And then there was the infamous tweets. Is there one real quick question, because Dave has not been silent about this over the last 3 weeks, and he's used the Church Militant publication arm. This is what I had a very, very nice chat with my friend Christine Niles about last night, who's always just a super nice, classy person to deal with, just easy to deal with. Yeah, he published an article, and then Joe Enders, a funny, cool dude who also works at Church Militant, published an article, and then Dave went on a download and talked about it. And you know, I think a lot of this stuff needs to stay behind the scenes. At the same time, I'm not the kind of guy that likes Wizard of Oz stuff, so there's a careful balance, as you guys even know. When I started Rules for Retrogrades immediately after TNT, people wanted to know. I don't like keeping people in the dark, but some of this stuff is professional discretion. So, you know, it's his call to make, though. He made it. And some people were thinking there's some beef between Church Militant and Sophia Institute. This is the last thing that any of these executives want. Michael or Charlie McKinney, Michael Vorse, Charlie McKinney, they're both such great guys, professional guys. This is what Christine and I talked about. So no, there is no beef between them. Dave, you know, was upset, you know, whatever, you know, you make the call on the merits of that. But there are two sides to every story, and Sophia is not being cowardly, because they're publishing the book. My chapters as they were, plus one or two more. But there's no beef at large, writ large, between Sophia and Church Militant, not at all. These are two of my favorite outfits, and you know, I'll tell you if there is zero beef between the two outfits, besides, you know, private individuals within them might get mad at each other. Who cares? You know, it's a non-story. It's a non-issue. That's the truth. Any other questions?
Somebody was asking about when my book was going to come out earlier.
Steph's book.
I wanted mine to come out after Tim's book.
Right.
So now, and mine's being published with TAN. It's called Ask Your Husband. It's kind of like the female companion to what was formerly Dave and Tim's book.
Right.
Now we're going to have 3 Gordon feminism books out, y'all.
Marketplace saturation. Can you say marketplace saturation? Steph's book is super good. It's done as a first draft. She and I are going through and just editing it, and then we're going to give it to Tan. And I also have a book that, because of what's happened with Sophia and the multiple edits and now the re-edit, and I'm going to have to fast write 2 chapters to beef it up, so it's not just like a 4-chapter book. It'll be a 6-chapter book, and to fill in some of the void left by Dave taking his book to Church Militant, which is awesome. I have spent all my time there, and I haven't been writing the Vatican II book for TAN that you all are also expecting. So there might be some way to hopefully bump up Steph's book in the process for TAN, because my book was supposed to, it's like competing without really being competitive with Steph's books, Dave's books. I'm hoping they can swap the publication order of Steph's Ask Your Husband and my Vatican II book, because her book is done. My book is barely started. The research is there for the Vatican II book, but hers is there. I mean, the point is, I just, the drama is really bad. It's bad for business, and sometimes you have to deal with it, right? When you can't get around some kinds of drama, and you have to deal with them. But this is just nothing. You guys get 2 books, which will be good. I know Dave's chapters. They're extremely good, and they're extremely important, and you should read the Church Militant book. And as always, support both outfits. People were asking me, did I want them to boycott Sophia? No, because I have 2 books coming out on Sophia, and they do really good work. They have a bunch of really, really traditional adjacent books coming out in the next year. So please do not do that. Do the opposite of that. Buy their books. Buy Church Militant books too.
Somebody said Sophia Institute Press can publish books being honest about Islam and communism. Why are they somehow afraid of talking about feminism?
The honest answer, if you want to know, is the outright socialist style censorship that's happening, right? So, I mean, this is a little bit like, I'm trying to answer your question really honestly. Look what happened to Carrie Gress's book on TAN. Okay, think about that. That book hits much less hard than my book on feminism, Steph's book on feminism, and Dave's book on feminism. I know because I've read all 3, at least in major parts. Dr. Gress's book is it hits second, third wave feminism kind of squarely, but that's pretty much center right politically correct to hit second. And then it raises some good points, and I borrowed from a few of the things it said about second and third wave feminism. But what's really at issue in, I'd say, all three of the forthcoming Gordon feminism books in different ways is that first wave feminism, which is to say feminism per se, is to blame for the evils of feminism. Okay, so that's it. So that's all the show will be for today. Hopefully I'll have a Milo interview for you. I have to bounce to a doctoral class. I wanted to give you all the info I could.
And that's all of our daughters will also be releasing their own books on feminism.
And our dog too.
Our dog also.
I'm still teaching him to type, QWERTY, but yeah, no beef with anyone. Like let's just all make nice, shake hands, and eat some fruit or something. God bless you guys. Deus Volt. The book should be out within a couple of months, hopefully by early summer. Okay. Oh man, we've punted this thing back and back and back. We're going to get to it. Just like my interview with Milo, this thing keeps getting punted back. Hopefully I get to that. I will be on a show on Friday night. You better come on mine. Peace. God bless you guys.